भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So friends, let us pray together and pray loudly. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all, Thou art all, Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. A title that is, the title page for the lecture made by Jitendra, it is. So it is, that is not enough for me. The human beings, they are led by the ideals. But the ideal is dependent on two factors. One is the idea of the aspirations. My vision, tells me how far I want to go. My awareness that what is this universe and what is the maximum I would like to achieve. And then the second factor is the awareness of the potentials. That also comes in, that it is how much is my capacity to have, like I may have the ideal to eat the whole cake, but then if I am just an ant. Imagine, Sri Ramakrishna used to give this example. If an ant approaches a mountain of sugar, then it has the desire to carry the whole mountain, but cannot do it. So carries just a little grain somehow, and then as it were keeps on thinking, next time when I come, I will carry the whole mountain. So that is how our aspirations are there, awareness of our, what we want to get in life, and then what our potential is. And the third factor plays in too, and very importantly it plays in, and that is my attachments. If my aspirations are, quite okay, I understand them, and I feel that I have the potential also to achieve those. But there are certain attachments, certain things that I feel I have to somehow, I don't want to leave them. So that creates an impediment in that achievement of the highest ideal, even though there is the potential for it. Because somehow or other I am glued to my present condition. And so all these factors somehow come in, and then we feel, okay, this is what is enough for me. There is high ideal, no doubt. But after all, we are limited people. We don't have we are, after all, this I hear from many people, we are not saints, After all, we have to work within these limitations, and so we are attached to various things, and it is not possible to get rid of the attachments. So the attachments we take to be, that I have to work within those limitations, never think that I can transcend those. So therefore, let us begin with a prayer that shows that I have this highest ideal and I want to realize it. That is a prayer that comes in Taittiriya Aranyaka, in Mahanarayana Upanishad. We chant it in the morning prayers many times. Om Brahma me tumam madhu me tumam Brahma meva madhu me tumam Brahma me dhaya madhu me dhaya Brahmameva madhumedhaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Brahman, the absolute, blissful, timeless, spaceless existence be realized by me. May the absolute bliss be realized by me. May the Brahman, who is also the absolute bliss, be realized by me. May I realize Brahman by purification of my understanding. May I realize the highest bliss by the purification of my understanding. Let me realize the Brahman, the absolute existence, which also is the absolute bliss, by purification of my understanding. So this gives the ideal that is highest. Nothing is higher than that. It includes everything, and being beyond space and time, one cannot think of anything higher than that in principle. And that is only, at least so far as human beings go, that is the only thing that can fulfill the criterion of highest for us. Because anything limited by time and space means there is always something better than that, something superior to that. And so when you see something to be superior to that, then it falls in your sight as ideal. That is not the best. That is not the highest. I want highest, topmost, the best. Then alone that fulfills the idea of ideal. Otherwise, When you see something superior to that, then automatically that is not ideal for you. So, the ideal is always the highest. It is not something that can be little lower compared to something else. So Brahman is that. Brahman is the. Oh, now it is late. It is 5:11. That's it. Yeah. It is the signboard there? Close, yes. Okay, yeah, that's it. Don't move, Naomi. Huh. So, this is how the situation is, that you have the ideal, and then it fulfills the condition of practicality as well, that I have to just purify my understanding, that's all. And then I am there. It is, I am that. I am there. Only thing is to purify my understanding. It does not depend on getting lot of money. It does not depend on going to the highest mountain peak and having many adventures to accomplish. It does not have any risk factor either. Absolutely no risk. And yet highest gain. This beats the accepted principle, no risk, no gain. In business, you say no risk, no gain. But here is the greatest business that has no risk and yet sure, guaranteed highest gain. That it is, nothing can be higher than that I am divine. But because of our attachments, we get stuck. We get stuck in what? That, well, this is, we are not saints. We are, after all, the ordinary people. And so we cannot achieve anything more than that. We can achieve only this much. And so we tell ourselves, that is good enough for me. So the title was inspired by a very good friend and devotee of Vedanta Society. She is fortunately present today, and she sent me. She was kind of irritated by my alluding to cookie in lectures, and so sent me the best message: never say cookies in your lectures. And then sent me a video. Just you can play a little. That is a popular thing, It is that cookie monster. So the fellow keeps on saying, that is good enough for me. That is good enough for me. So you can just see it. You must have seen it. That it is not playing, Jitendra. we put a limit. That is good enough for me. A cookie, that's enough. Our cookie can be different. Well, for some people, getting job that gives me some money to survive, and then some a family, a few children, good friends around, and then I like to play bridge, the availability to play bridge. That's a good life, that is good enough for me. That is, some would say, well, I want to do lot of philanthropic work in this world. So let me establish some organizations like that and collect lot of money and distribute it in doing lot of such works. I will be known as a great philanthropist, and that is good enough for me. It is, that becomes the cookie for that person, good enough for me. Somebody wants to be a big political leader. I want to become, elections are coming. I don't think any of you right now have much of a chance to become president, but maybe one can think, I want to become president of United States. And for somebody that is good enough for me, that becomes the cookie for someone. Somebody wants to become the richest person in the world, and thus becomes cookie for that person. So that is the various things that we think of as our ideal. Although if we think enough as human beings, we see that cannot fulfill the criterion of the ideal. The ideal has to be the highest. Otherwise, if it is not the highest in our awareness, it falls from our eyes as the highest thing. The ideal has to be the highest. So, if not, one cannot think of it as ideal. So, any such thing is not the highest. So, therefore, we see that you may get the whole universe, but again it is not enough for you, because it is not ideal. After all, that also comes and goes. It also has a lot of problems. It also gets, infested with coronavirus. So this universe, no good for me. It is not good enough for me. So this idea, not good enough for me, should be, imprinted, that I may get all such things. Is it good enough for me to justify my living as a human being? This question needs to be prominently again and again asked. Therefore, Socrates mentions that a pig is satisfied, and Socrates dissatisfied. Socrates dissatisfied is better than a pig satisfied, because the pig is pig. At that level it is okay. But as a human being, I can see much better. I can see that this life can give me my true nature, the divine. I can become divine, and thus that should be the ideal. And you see this thing, that till you get it, you are not satisfied. That is also the Jewish idea, if you think it from the Jewish mysticism point of view, the Kabbalah point of view, that one should always feel that you are in exile. If you are not in the Holy Land. Now, Holy Land in the political arena, it means a particular piece in the of land in the Middle East called Israel, and also so that is the Holy Land. But according to Kabbalists, that is not the Holy Land. It is your divine nature to be in truth, to be in God. That is then you are not in exile, because that is you are established now in your true nature. So otherwise we are always to feel that dissatisfaction. I am in exile. I am not in my true nature. So that feeling must make us, uneasy here, and strive to attain the higher and higher goals in our life till we reach our true divine nature, beyond which there cannot be anything. So this is the idea that must keep on ringing in our ears. There are of course the attachments which keep us pulling down, and we say, okay, like the cookie is good enough for me because I cannot give up attachment for it. So the chilies are good enough for this Swami. Well, I can't imagine a heaven without chilies, you see. So it is, no, but we have to rise beyond the attachments. That constant rising, as has been described in many beautiful artworks, like the great book Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Many of you must have read that book. It is that seagull, that Jonathan was a seagull, wants to fly high, high, high. His parents and others were telling, we are seagulls, we are supposed to just live on the crumbs around here. We don't fly high. We just keep on looking and keep on fighting with each other for some piece of food that is there, and we beget the progeny, and that is how the life is. That is good enough for us. Why don't you see that you are after all born as a seagull? That's enough. You are born of us, and this is the ideal that we lived. This is the best thing. See how we are happy. So, but this Jonathan was not satisfied, wanted to go higher and higher. That's a nice story. There is also that famous, that Wizard of Oz, that song. That girl is not satisfied, says that somewhere over the rainbow. Well, I must go there where my dreams will come true. Somewhere over the rainbow. It is a very beautiful and the song full of mystical meaning, that it is the rainbow means the colors, variety. Otherwise it is just oneness. But rainbow, under the rainbow it is all variety, multiplicity. But beyond that there is the unity. So I want to go beyond that, over the rainbow. And there is that, the last line of this song tells the practicality also. If the little bluebirds, they can fly there, why can I not? Why can I not? Let each of us ask this question to oneself. Why can I not? If some sages could do it, I also can do it. Why can I not? It is, I can also do that. It is, we have to assert that by, saying, where do I am not capable? This is my potential. And that is what Vedanta stresses. the potential divinity. I am divine. Just by purification of mind, I have to see that, that's all. It is there. It is practical because I am that. It is, if it is something else somewhere, it is, I have to go to moon, some new SpaceX mission that will be taking me to moon, and then maybe knows if I will be able to do that. But it is just seeing my true nature. That's the ideal. But we have to tell ourselves that this getting stuck here is not good enough for me. If we become inertiatic, this is the sign of inertia, that this is good enough for me. Then okay, you are stuck there. If this is good enough for me, we have to tell ourselves this is not good enough for me. And then let me tell you this story. As soon as I got this, what is it, that Cookie Monster video, that gave me the title for this Sunday talk, So it is, I get Sunday titles as titles for the Sunday talks from various different sources, It is like many years ago, about 8 years at least. So we had a theft here, and the thief ran away, seeing some movement around, leaving his shoes. So he took the booty with him, but left the shoes. So, and then a policeman came. And then I told the policeman, you must be having that dog squad there. You must be having that dog. These shoes have been left here. So let the dog smell the shoes, and then the dog will catch. And then the policeman looked at me and with some disdain said to me, "That happens only in the movies." And I got a Sunday talk title, that happens only in the movies. So it is like that I got this title, that just a little extra word. It is not good enough for me. It is, instead of saying it is good enough for me, we should train ourselves to say that it is not good enough for me. And that is how we keep on moving up on the ladder of spiritual evolution. It is very important thing to learn to say that it is not good enough for me. So there is this beautiful story in Chandogya Upanishad. It is the last chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, last volume, whatever. And in that, from section 7 to 13, this beautiful, very popular, very inspiring, tremendous story goes on, that there are the two classes, the angels and the demons. Both wanted enjoyment, and so they both heard from their common father, Prajapati, that the one who realizes the self, one who knows the self, gets all the desires fulfilled. Now they therefore wanted to know the self, because everybody wants my desires should be fulfilled. Now in the world we find not much scope. What happens in the world is terrible. One desire you go to fulfill, it gives rise to 3 more desires. And that keeps on going on, So therefore the desires here can never be fulfilled. So when they heard this promise from Prajapati, that if you know this self, then all the desires will get fulfilled. So, therefore, they both decided to go to Prajapati. Both means their representatives. The demons, they selected their best representative. His name was Virochana, the king of demons. And the angels, they selected their best representative, Indra, and both of them went to Prajapati. And then said, we have come to ask you about. Prajapati said, well, you just have come. No, so quickly. You have to wait, to ask the question. Okay, how long? Not much, 32 years. You have to wait 32 years, stay here for 32 years practicing austerities, living this kind of ascetic life here for 32 years. Then you can ask me whatever question you have. And both of them, they thought that, well, it is worth waiting because we want to fulfill all our desires, and we have seen there is no way in this world. In this world, it is to fulfill the desire means running after horizon to catch it. And so there is no other way. So let us wait. That is the only possible thing. We can't compel Prajapati to tell it before that time. We are not his boss. So therefore, we have to wait. No other chance. So they waited patiently. After 32 years, Prajapati asked, hey, what is it? Oh, we want to know about the self. And then Prajapati said, okay, there is this pond. You look into the pond and you will get the answer. That knowledge of the self. And they both went into near the pond and saw. And they saw their bodies reflected. And they thought, well, that means that is the answer, isn't it? The body is the self. I know now what is self. And so the job is done. Prajapati saw that they both have misunderstood. So to fill them with some more wisdom, he said, okay, now you are wearing all these ascetics, this dress, very soiled, very ordinary. And so now you change. I give you the royal garments and all the ornaments. Put them on and then see your reflections. Tell me what you see. Then both of them saw and said, now we look at our bodies which are now adorned with very beautiful clothings and beautiful ornaments. We see ourselves like that. So that is the self-knowledge. And both decided to go back. After 32 years of austere life, they were released now, and they had the gift of the self-knowledge. They thought like that. And then the Virochana, the king of the demons, he was satisfied, that is good enough for me, and told his followers, well, this body is the self. Go after aggrandizement of this body, the physical pleasures and all that. That is the way ahead. Indra also thought that he got the answer, but he was introspective. That is the sign of a spiritually inclined person, the one who wants to go ahead, forge further towards the ideal. Is it good enough for me? Is it what I had come to ask for? And Indra found that is not, because this body cannot be self. Body is perishable, it falls sick, it gets old, and it is, it gets soiled, dirty, this, that. So he saw that this is not what he wanted, and then he says there, the beautiful utterance, when I first studied this part of the Upanishad, Oh, this one sentence kept on hitting me again and again. Naham atra bhogyam pashyami. I don't see anything worth enjoying here. And this is not good enough for me. And then he decided to go back to Prajapati and said, hey, you told me that this is the body is the self, but the body is subject to, birth, death, decay, this, that, all problems. So how can this body be self? Prajapati said, I didn't tell you that. But anyway, if you want to know further, that for 32 years you can get only that much answer. Stay another 32 years and then we will see. So Indra had to say another 32 years. And then he got the answer this time, that it is this, what powers the body, those forces, that is actually the self. And while going, he again saw that that is the problem, that it cannot be the self, because they also have ups and downs. And so the unchanging self cannot be that. And he was again hit immediately. I don't see anything enjoyable there. Naham atra bhogyam pashyami. It's not good enough for me. And then he again comes back. Again Prajapati says, 32 years. And he said, okay. And then he, after 32 years, how many years now have elapsed? 32, 96. So after 96 years, he learned from Prajapati that the mind and all that is the self. It is much inside that governs everything. Okay. But then he thought he got the answer, but was again saw that the mind also is sometimes sad, sometimes elated, sometimes depressed. Isn't it? Sometimes the mind is depressed, isn't it, Teresa? Yeah, so it is. Sometimes it gets all those very bad thoughts. So the mind cannot be such the self. So he again comes back to Prajapati. Prajapati says, well, again, this time he reduced that 96 years had removed almost all impurities. So he was told 5 more years. So, and that at the end of the 5 more years, he got this self-knowledge. But till then, he was saying, this is not good enough for me. He got the knowledge, this wisdom, that this self cannot be this anything that is physical or mental. He was told by Prajapati very famous sentences of Vedanta, friends, that this body, gross or subtle, whatever you can, all that which is body, what is it? Maghavan name of Indra, the Sanskrit, this thing, Maghavan martyam idam shariram attam rityuna. This body, gross, subtle, it is food for the death. It is subject to death. It is not permanent. It is afflicted by likes and dislikes. Priya priyayoho sharire vavasantam na priya priyayoho apahati asti. It is that if you identify with body, sharire vavasantam, na priya priyayoho apahati asti. Likes and dislikes cannot leave you. And like and dislike, okay, I will hold on to only that I like, not what I dislike. That should be good enough for me. No, the problem is here, likes and dislikes. That which you liked now, before you get it, if when you get it, that itself becomes not liked. That which you like now, after a while, that very thing becomes that you don't like. So that is why our life is running towards and running away. Go to one thing to grab it. I like it. I want it. You get it. And like the children, they want a toy. And then, they cry. They feel that that is all that I want. I read many, I had the chance to go to, in Alaska, there is that what is it, that North Pole. So it is, and there is the Alaska, that Santa's place, it is. So they write that letters to Santa, to that store, and they are all put there, that these letters. So the children write funny things, that Santa, all I want in life is this video game. That's it. The life is, that is good enough for me. I don't want anything more. Just this video game for this Christmas. And how much that that video game gets enjoyed, maybe from Christmas to New Year. That's about it. No, that becomes now no more liked. That is liked and disliked. That which you like, you dislike, and that which you dislike, you like, you say. That is how the likes and dislikes. It is, I had told you that story many times. It's very nice to remember that it is, Chaitananandji told it, that a minister was giving lecture that, there is, we all strive for perfection. Nobody is perfect. Have you seen any perfect man? And then in the somebody sitting in the back pew, in that got up, a senior gentleman. Have you seen a perfect man? Oh yes, my wife's ex-husband. So the idea is funny, you see, that because now she doesn't have him, so that is the best person, when that man was with her, then she needed a divorce, you see. But when now that is gone, now she thinks that is the great man. See, so that is what you have, you want to get rid of it. You don't like it. And that is how, if we are identified with body, na priya priyayoho apahati asti. You cannot get rid of likes and dislikes. They keep on just kicking you like a soccer ball, you say. It is. So this is the life. But asharire vavasantam. If you realize the true nature, where you are beyond body, then you do not have these likes and dislikes. You are everything. You are the self. You are divine. So, asharire vavasantam na priya priyayoho na priya priye sprishataha. Asharire vavasantam na priya priye sprishataha. You are not touched by now likes and dislikes. And what we need to do, it is very simple. Just tell yourself the truth. I am not the body, I am not the mind, which is true. You can all easily see this. And nobody here is so dumb not to see this obvious truth, that I I am not able to see that I am not body or mind. It is so simple to say, only we have to have the courage to hold on to it. One has to have the courage to transcend all these attachments, likes and dislikes. It is as human beings, and especially those who come to Vedanta, uh, or any this kind of religious understanding, they can easily see. That is what they, in all religions you will say. Jesus was tempted with all these ideas. That's a great, in Matthew you read about it, that yes, Jesus had his temptations. The Satan showed him, I can give you all this beautiful world. He was fasting and he told Jesus, why you can convert this stone into bread? Jesus refused to get tempted. All these worlds you can get. Jesus refused to get tempted. You can become the king of everything and you can do good to lot of people. Jesus refused to get tempted. It is so we have to just tell ourselves that I am divine, I am the master. So I will not have this influence of any little things. I am not subservient to all these little things that they will dictate me. I am the master. I am the master of all these so-called money and kingdoms and all that. After all, I make money. Money doesn't make me. Human beings make money. I am a human being. So how can money control me? Impossible. And we have to, therefore, we cannot be, if when we think of this, we will not get tempted by money. If we think of this, we will not get tempted by any sense enjoyment. Because it is I who give them the strength. And they have no strength of their own. So I will not get tempted by any of these things. Same thing with Buddha, temptation of Buddha. Again and again, that it is called Mara there, the same Satan, or ignorance, nescience, whatever you may call, tried to tempt Buddha in various ways. But Buddha remained calm. So, this is what we have to keep on thinking and practicing. It is, we may not get it today because too many attachments might be there. But we must still say that I will get over those. I will practice. I will gain more strength to overcome these. To become stronger and stronger is therefore, according to Swami Vivekananda, the religion. And this is the practicality. It is the practicality that okay, it is I have to go to my ideal and I will work for it. If I have to wait for it, I will wait, but I will not take up some wrong ideal. Like our Subhashish wants to go to India very badly. He has to go to India, he says. But now the flights are not available to go to India. But that doesn't mean if there is a flight that can go to California, can he take that flight? No, what is the use? I don't want to go to California. I am not going to the plane for the joy of flying. I want to go to India, and so I will wait patiently. I will try to get the ticket to go to India. So that is how, our goal must be fixed. We cannot substitute it by, okay, that is good enough for me. No, that is not good enough for me. There is if I tell, okay, Subhashish, there is a flight that goes to Florida. Would you like to go? You will get a free ticket, maybe in business class. He said, no, no, give me ticket to India, even if it is, very pricey. And even if I have to go without eating during the whole flight, I will take that because that is where I want to go. So, we have to go to our divine heritage. We have to get that divine heritage. That is the goal. Till then, we should not feel satisfied. This is a beautiful quote from Swami Vivekananda's that great lecture on practical Vedanta. And with that, I will end today's talk. The Vedanta preaches the ideal, and the ideal, as we know, is always far ahead of the real, of the practical, as we may call it. There are two tendencies in human nature, one to harmonize the ideal with the life, the other to elevate the life to the ideal. It is a great thing to understand this, for the former tendency is the temptation of our lives. Now, if a man comes to preach to me a certain ideal, the first step towards which is to give up selfishness, to give up self-enjoyment, I think that is impractical. But when a man brings an ideal which can be reconciled with my selfishness, I am glad at once and jump at it. That is the ideal for me. That is good enough for me. It is what I think is practical, is to me the only practicality in the world. If I am a shopkeeper, I think shopkeeping is the only practical pursuit in the world. If I am a thief, I think stealing is the best means of being practical. Others are not practical. You see how we all use this word practical for things which we like and can do. Therefore, I will ask you to understand that Vedanta, though it is intensely practical, is always so in the sense of the ideal. It does not preach an impossible ideal, however high it be, and it is high enough for an ideal. In one word, this ideal is that you are divine. Thou art that. The greatest error, says the Vedanta, is to say that you are weak, that you are a sinner, a miserable creature, and that you have no power and you cannot do this and that. Every time you think in that way, you as it were rivet one more link in the chain that binds you down. You add one more layer of hypnotism onto your own soul. This we must always bear in mind, that in Vedanta there is no attempt at reconciling the present life, the hypnotized life, this false life which we have assumed, with the ideal. But this false life must go, and the real life, which is always existing, must manifest itself, must shine out. No man becomes purer and purer. It is matter of a greater manifestation. The veil drops away, and the native purity of the soul begins to manifest itself. Everything is ours already. Infinite purity, freedom, love and power. Till we realize this, we must tell ourselves, anything, any so-called good thing may come to us, that is not good enough for me. So far as all these other, things that are just the material needs of life. With anything, when it comes to us, we should say that is good enough for me. But when it comes to ideal, then any of those things not good enough for me. There is a beautiful Sanskrit verse that says that, oh, those things, whether you get them, you don't get them, it doesn't matter at all, they are okay. That it is said that ajara maravat prajna artham kamam cha chintayet. A person can think of, getting money and getting all those little earthly desires fulfilled, saying that, oh, I have infinite life, Ajram, I am immortal, what is the hurry, It is, what does it matter? It doesn't matter really. But when it comes to the ideal, realizing the self, now let me, at this moment I have to give it a try. Who knows? I may not be here living alive tomorrow. Grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharmamacharet. Know that the tuft of your hair is held by death. This may be my last moment. Thinking that, achieve the most important thing first, right away, now, here, no time to be wasted for in that. Other things, what does it matter? Like the example that Subhash is going to India. It is, what does it matter if I get the worst back seat in the plane? It is that doesn't matter. If I don't get the proper food in the plane, what does it matter? They are secondary things. The question is whether it is going to India or not. Yeah. Otherwise, okay, we will give you free first class ticket to California with all food and everything. What is the use of it? It is. So, as far as this ideal is concerned, that is my goal, and let me put all my energies in realizing that now. Now is the best time to do it. Somebody sent me a very nice cartoon, I forwarded it to Naomi also, and she forwarded it to others. That is Pug and Piglet, that Tao of the Pug and all that. That is a beautiful, nice cartoon. That the Piglet asks, "What is the date? It is what is the day?" And the answer is, "It is today." And then that Piglet says, "That is my best day." That is my best day. That today, this moment, is our best moment to strive for that realization. And let us begin. Doesn't matter if it takes millions of years, millions of lifetimes. Let us begin now. It is my best day. And we have to begin in the right earnest. Let us feel this in our heart and march on that journey. We have to do it, friends. So let us meditate on this thought, and then if you have any questions after that, please feel free to ask, and we will discuss those. Today we will have, like we used to have earlier, the Arati in Sundays, so Sunday evening, so we will have Arati. But there won't be soup supper, but there is some snack kept outside. So please take that snack, because here you got food for your these neural muscles, but then you have to get food for the your other muscles as well. So surely take it when you go out. So yes, please.
There is one question, long question from Lynn. Swamiji, thank you. I do understand I am not a body. However, I have a hard time understanding I am not the mind. Because if I am not the mind, then where did thoughts, memories, or intellect come from? Where intellect come from? If I am not the mind, then how does one exist? So by
Ah,
saying that, is not enough for me, is coming from the mind, but I am not the mind. How is that so? Confused. Thank you.
a very good question. Many ask this question. I am not the body, okay, but mind is responsible for thoughts, emotions, and all these thoughts also we get through the mind. So, how am I not the mind? Yes, mind is an instrument that gives you these things, but you are not that. It is the very fact that you are getting it from the mind means that you are not mind. It is, yeah, it is. Therefore, we can say, don't mind, please, because I am not the mind. This otherwise, this statement wouldn't have any meaning. So, it is the mind is an instrument. It is both together, body and mind together comprise the instrument of our perception. It is the body, the hardware, mind, the software, just for the understanding that they both together they work. But the one who owns that instrument is a different one. That is not the mind is an instrument that makes you think, like your computer. It has all these exactly these functions that showing you the files, then selecting the particular file, working on it, and then putting it back into everything gets back into the memory. These are called the four functions of mind, the inner organ. It gets actually the proper name is in Sanskrit is the our subtle body or the inner instrument. So antakarana. So this has these four functions that it is the first is to open up different files, different possibilities, then selecting the right one. The third is to have this everything properly pigeonholed, the memory. And the fourth is the ego function, that with everything I, that vibration comes, that is the ego function, that okay, I see this, I understand this, I work on this. So that is the ego function that goes with all these. So these are the four ways in which the mind works, but I am different from that. So therefore it is one therefore says my mind. We don't say I mind. My mind. So my mind is like this today, like that tomorrow. We see the variety also, that my mind and your mind. So naturally it cannot be the self that is omnipresent. It is one may see that you are there but your mind is not there. So how can you be mind? It is, for example, people are here sitting and listening to the lecture, but they don't really get the message. Very often it happens. Why? Because the mind was not there. So the mind comes, goes. So you are not the mind either. This is very important to see this. Yeah, so you are thus neither body nor mind. In fact, this criterion could be put in there that you are not anything that changes. You are the unchanging, and therefore you cannot be that which changes. Moreover, you are the perceiver, the subject, and so anything that you see, being an object of seeing, you are not that. You see your mind, that yes, this is the thought that has come to my mind. So you are as it were witnessing the mind. So you are not therefore the mind. So because it is more inner than the body, closer to us than the body, more durable than the body, this body is cast away, and then with the mind you move to another body that gets called reincarnation. So therefore one feels that this how I am mind, isn't it? It is difficult to get this idea, but see this clearly, that I am not the mind. One has to give more thought to it patiently, that if I am the mind, then how am I able to see that? If I am the mind, then mind changes. So how can that be the unchanging self? So this thought has to be repeated, and thus it will help us to get rid of the delusion that I am mind. So yes, Annalicia, you have a question? Well, it is not how it is connected, because it is everything. Mm. It is the mind, the body, they come and go. It is, you think, you know how the screen is connected to the movie? Mm. Do you glue the pictures to the screen? How the screen is connected to the picture? It is just an appearance. So this mind, body, they have only ignorance is the glue. The glue is ignorance. That although you are seeing the screen, you are thinking that you are seeing this man, this woman, this fire, and this incident. This is how there is no connection. Because how can you get a real connection for something that is not real? That is the answer to that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Thank you. Yes, Sarada? A two-part question. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, your question for the web listeners, let me uh, put it in other words, that it is that is in Chandogya Upanishad, just before what we discussed, the story of Indra. The previous this chapter is that of this Sanat Kumar and Narada discussion, that it is Narada had learnt everything but still is dissatisfied. All the branches of learning, Narada is expert in them, and yet is feeling dissatisfied. Not enough for me, dissatisfied. And he knows the reason also, tells Sanat Kumar directly. He is such an evolved soul, so says to Sanat Kumar, Mantra vidosmi natu atmavid. What beautiful words these are, friends. Mantra vidosmi. I know only the words, mantra, not the self, not the true meaning of any of these. And that is why I am just burning with the sufferings, shoka. What would be the good translation for shoka? Huh? Huh? Sorrow. Yes, sorrow. I am having so much sorrow, despondency. So many things are put in this word shoka. That, and so I have come to you because I have heard from great people, Tarati Shokam Atmavit. This sentence is often quoted in all different Vedanta texts. This sentence from Chandogya Upanishad, that Tarati Shokam Atmavit, the one who realizes self alone crosses over the sorrow. So that is why you have to see first by this discernment, viveka, that this is not permanent, this is not real. I have to therefore transcend it. I have to go. That is not good enough for me. The discernment tells you this is not good enough for me. And so I will be embroiled in sorrow and sufferings if I think this is good enough for me. So please show me the way out. So this discernment is the tool that Narada gets a perfect advice from Sanat Kumar, that all that you have learnt is just the expression of the Atman. The Atman is what you have been learning about without knowing it. It is all Atman. All that you are talking about is embedded in it and yet is beyond it. So this is the glory of the Atman, knowing which therefore nothing remains to be known, getting which nothing remains to be gotten. That is why that is the idol, and that is the only thing that one should say is good enough for me. All other things are not good enough for me. So thank you, friends, and we will have now Arati, but first we will have the that fortunately for you, no offertory, so you don't have to take out the money from the pocket. So it is no offertory, but I'll tell the upcoming programs. Next Sunday we will be discussing a commonly discussed topic here. It is matter of grace. So that is the topic next Sunday. The Tuesday, Friday classes will go on as usual. And just to give you a reminder that it is the June 21st, after the Sunday service talk, there will be the annual general meeting and that will be the closing of this the Vedanta Society programs for this summer break. There will be a few summer programs, and I am deliberating still in my mind as to how to conduct them, what would be the programs. We otherwise every year have lot of summer programs going on, but because of the situation we will not be able to hold many of those. So but we will see what best we can do. So let us conclude with the closing prayer. uh, May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.